we met on the Chick-fil-A account.
Okay.
And it was our job to make those three words, two of them misspelled, eat more chicken, relevant and interesting for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I never had to use spell check, so that was cool. And thinking like a cow for 10 years was kind of how we got going.
Hello, I am Lee McKnight, Jr., VP of Sales for RSW US, outsourced business development for ad agencies of all types. And this is Cut to the Chase. It's the RSW interview series that delivers a brief but impactful view, or I should say views, from ad agency principals and business development leaders on growth strategies and the challenges that come with it in today's weird, evolving landscape. Bill Milkereit, co-founder of Poke the Bear. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So we're going to see some interesting background and a pedigree from Bill here, but I got to be fully transparent and say that we have known each other for, yikes, 3 decades plus, which is painful now that I say it out loud.
And yet really nothing's changed, really.
Not really. I mean, some things. We met at the University of Kentucky, otherwise known as God's Country, and it's great to have you here, Bill.
Thanks, Lee. This will be interesting.
It will be.
The goal since I met you was don't ever be boring, right? So good luck to you.
Exactly it. We'll see what happens. Let's jump in. And you've started a new agency, Poke the Bear. I want to talk about that. Quite a few things about that. But before we do, for folks watching, if they don't know you, God forbid, give us just a little bit of background so we can set the stage here, where you came from.
I get bored easily. My co-founder, partner, Todd, he is easily unimpressed. So together, it ends up benefiting our clients because we're always digging deeper. We're our worst, toughest critics. It's no settling, no compromise.
Nice.
Any of that. But professionally, I'm a writer. Been a writer for a very long time, several decades. I classically trained at the Portfolio Center in Atlanta. Kentucky, as you remember, taught me a lot of things, didn't teach me anything about advertising. At least the hard craft of it. That is where I needed to really buckle down and go to professional ad school. And then after that, left to catch at Mountjoy in Charlotte, and then at the Richards Group, where I was even more classically trained by the Hall of Famer Stan Richards.
Okay.
He taught me discipline, integrity, rehearsal, presentation. So that's where this all came from.
Tell me some of the kind of the key campaigns you co-created while you're.
Well, yeah, Todd and I, my partner, we met on the Chick-fil-A account.
Okay.
And it was our job to make those three words, two of them misspelled, eat more chicken, relevant and interesting for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I never had to use spell check, so that was cool. And thinking like a cow for 10 years was kind of how we got going.
Okay.
And there's something about, I didn't realize until several years later, something about people ask you what you do and you can tell them, and they know a campaign like that, yeah, and they light up. And they light up. They're like, oh, I love the cows. So before that, I was working on air conditioning ads and energy companies, and nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
Another cool thing, we We also refounded the fruit guys.
Right.
Can you name all 4 fruits? I bet you can't, because that's a trick question.
Because there were 5?
They weren't all fruit.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
When you say banana, you're already DQ'd.
Apple, grapes. Dang. Help.
Yeah, I know.
That's where it gets the apple because of the helmet, and the grapes.
Helmet. It was
whatever.
Apple. What kind of grapes?
They were purple.
Yeah, there was purple grapes guy.
Yeah.
Green grapes guy that was originally boysenberries.
Okay.
That's fact.
Interesting.
And the 4th that no one ever gets, leaves.
Oh, yeah, no. Totally. No, never would have gotten that.
Yeah, a big Home Depot campaign that we got in way over our head on. We launched the Let's Do This campaign for the Home Depot. We suddenly had 50 people on our team of all disciplines that we had to have drink our Kool-Aid of the Let's Do This Kool-Aid, and had, all of a sudden I'm in a big boardroom in Atlanta pitching this idea that so that I was going to say that we were outsiders on that campaign. I don't know if that's relevant. That's kind of too in the weeds, I think. But if you want to talk about things people know,
that's
proud. I'll say this too. I said we're the authors of It Just Means More for the Southeastern Conference.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Proud moment there as I looked across the conference room table in the pitch to Greg Sankey, the commissioner. I said, if you want to just do the same stuff that everybody does for college advertising, conference advertising, that moment was 30 seconds during the funnest 3 hours of their week watching the game where they all get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Please don't hire us. And credit to him and his team. They hired us because they want to do something different. Really stand out for something. So that's still running. So all these have been running a while. Yeah. Obviously, the theme there.
Okay, I love it. That is fantastic, and that's kind of what I wanted to get out for everybody to set the stage here. And before we get specifically into Poke the Bear, I'm going to ask this question to everyone in this series. But break the ice. Okay, I want a story, a client story. We're not going to name names, God forbid. We'll protect the innocent. But the weirdest or dumbest or most off-putting thing, whether it was in a pitch or just in whatever, a call, whatever it was with a client, what do you got for me? What's the thing that stands out?
I had a client drop his pants in the room when we were presenting. He got up and dropped his pants to show like some really colorful boxers he was really proud of. Oh,
wow.
I learned later was we got off easy because it turned out the guy is a nudist.
No.
So that was super comfortable for him, uncomfortable for everybody else. Yeah,
did it have any relation to what you were talking about at all? Okay.
Zero, nothing to do with it.
Okay.
That was a what just happened moment.
Yeah, I like it. That's. Did you end up working? I mean, this was an active client.
Won't say who it was. We had a good run. You have to learn to relate to all kinds of people.
Yes, you do.
You didn't want to be on the shoot when he's like a room below you on the balcony and it's a sunny day. I'll just say that.
No.
That happened.
Okay.
Well, there's the client. Oh, there's all the client right there.
There it is. Okay.
Here we are.
Yikes.
How's this going so far, Lee? What do you think?
I love it. Let's get that. If that didn't get people going, I don't know what will. Let's jump in to Poke the Bear. I mean, we're talking new. First, just tell me where the name comes from. I'm guessing that's the first question that everybody.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: it took us a year.
Wow.
Seriously, it took us a year to come up with a name, and I honestly thought it would never happen. I'd almost gave up because we are, as I said, our own toughest critics.
Yeah.
agency naming, if you haven't noticed, has become silly sport. It's like band names. It's all taken. And then it's about, let's show you how we're too cool to care, jokey names to complete nonsense names. We were determined that ours had to reflect who we are and how we work.
Okay.
And which is seriously not serious.
Yeah.
That's a sort of hidden tagline with us. We wanted the name to mean something, but if you work with us, you'll never be bored. We poke, we prod, we provoke. I'll say this: Poke the Bear is a perfect name for us because that's what we do. We poke, we prod, we provoke, and brands prevail because we get to the answers that are unexpected and a little deeper, and maybe a little more uncomfortable and a little more daring than people wanted to get into at first, but that's how you stand out. So Poke the Bear it is. I lost on Corinthian Leather. Corinthian Leather was a name that I wanted to go with, and it's, you know that? Do you know Corinthian Leather?
Oh, Corinthian, I'm not going to try to do the accent. Well, but yeah, Ricardo Montalban, please.
And what car was it? The Chrysler Cordoba.
Oh, nice.
I could ask for nothing beyond the quality of Cordoba's workmanship, the tastefulness of its appearance. I request nothing beyond the thickly cushioned luxury of seats available even in soft Corinthian leather.
No, I would have gotten it.
But I love that because it's a totally made up advertising phrase. It doesn't mean anything. And from the Glory Bozell days, it's like, Chevron with Techron and Search with Redfin. Like, you just come up with names that sound cool and interesting. And sometimes, as we say, Webster's can't hold us. So we like to bring in names or words that grab people and stop them in their tracks because sometimes the dictionary is lacking.
I love that. To patent that.
Like,
yeah, I mean, Corinthian Leather is awesome, but it's kind of like band names, as you know, Bill, in a couple of bands.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, open for Smash Mouth. Watch out. But it's like how's that going to look on the marquee? And people are going to have a tough time with Corinthian Leather versus Poke the Bear, which is perfect.
Corinthian Leather is not as immediate. I'll say that. So that went on the no pile. The no pile was very tall.
Yeah.
I would be happy to tell you others. Maybe during this conversation, they'll just start coming out.
Or people might steal them. You might want to keep them. Right.
Sell them.
But I love Poke the Bear because you're right. There are, and I'm not knocking any, and I know you're not either, but too many agencies, and some are just acronyms for the partners, which is fine. I mean, it's easy enough. Sure. But I do love that, and I know you better than other folks watching, but it does fit. And it's like, I love when you can just insert the name, like if you're talking to a prospect, for example, because business development is what I'm thinking about a lot of the time in this, that it's literally, as you said, this is what we do, and it's kind of cool that the name encapsulates kind of everything about you all. So I loved it. I
think it's going to become a weeding out layer. If that scares you, if you don't want to poke the bear, you don't want to get in there, you don't want to kind of rock the boat, shake things up, then it's probably not going to be a good fit. So in some ways, it just saves everybody a lot of time.
Right. I love it.
When Todd showed up with his logo that he designed, I was sold. I was like, okay.
Yeah, the one that on your shirt now. Can you see? Make sure we can see it there. Yeah, people will see it.
Oh yeah.
But I want merch. I want it. Yeah. Let's get tactical for a minute. What type of firm? Telling folks that are watching in terms of full service agency, or I mean, what?
Okay. Yeah, we are a creative branding agency.
Okay.
It all starts with the idea of what it is your brand stands for. Without that, to us, nothing else matters. So,
love it.
We're as full service as a client wants to get, and what a client needs. We do bring in other disciplines as needed. We like to say that it's creative first in everything, in the thinking and the strategy of that, and then we load for bear from there.
Nice.
We say lean on purpose, super low overhead, so we can counterpunch the big, expensive, high overhead ad agencies that we all know about.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. And you already answered the next question, but what is your ideal client like in terms of, okay, we're Poke the Bear now. Here's our ideal client. That could be size. Like, are you going after big fish? It can also, and you touched on some of this in terms of if you're not in the ethos, if I can call it that, not to get too lofty, of Poke the Bear, if that kind of doesn't sit well with you, we probably aren't the right fit for you. So maybe that's part of the answer. But
if you say ethos again in this interview, we're done. Some ground rules. Okay.
Hey, we both from Kentucky. That's that, right?
I think it's the mindset, Lee. I think it's someone who's unafraid to smile or laugh or cry if an idea moves them. That's a good client for us.
Okay.
There are a lot of stoic, fearful faces out there. As you've heard already, I don't like to be in that room.
Yeah.
We're a perfect fit for any client, big or small, who's in a category of any size, who knows, that's the key word, who knows that they can't afford to blend in.
Okay.
And if we have to convince them they can't afford to blend in, that's probably not a good fit.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
For example, I think we'd be good fit for like a golf brand. You know how if any client there knows that they need to do something different than show graphite shafts and a tour pro swinging away tech, if they know they need something more than that to stand out, that's a good example.
Can you please, God, do some pharma commercials? Because I don't know where they get these templates of.
Pharma would be bad.
Oh.
Pharma, I've already thought of that. That's too many rules there.
Too many. Well, there are, yeah, and too many.
I think everybody would be unhappy with Poke the Bear at that point. Poke the farmers market. That agency maybe would be good for that. Small town fair or the gardening.
Yeah, it'd be good for that. Well, that leads to the next question, which you kind of already answered maybe too, but given your past experience and you named off some of those companies, I mean, are you and Todd and your team going after thinking about specific verticals? I mean, you mentioned golf, for example, but do you have in your head, like we've done this before, let's get more clients? Go ahead.
We are specialists who really don't know a category specialty.
Yeah.
We're heavy into sports and fan culture. We've done a ton of restaurant work.
Right.
But we've been involved with everything from chicken sandwiches to online trading to plus size women's underwear.
Right.
That's true.
Okay.
But our process is the thing that's always the same. To us, it really doesn't matter. Our process is the same. We figure out what's being done, what's been done, what not to do, find the truth, and have zero fear about telling it in an ownable, memorable way. So, yeah, anybody's up, that's the category we need to be in, the mindset.
Yeah, and that in and of itself, I mean, when you think about business development and we have to go after these three verticals, and it can be that, and given that experience that you've had, sure. But what you're doing obviously more horizontally, where we've got experience across the board where we can play in these areas. But you already mentioned, like, here's where we've had the passion for at least, but that you're open to.
I mean, I think there would be some more learning depending on the category. There's some less learning and more instinct and passion built in.
Yeah.
But again, it's the how you go about finding the truth and telling that truth. It doesn't really have a category that benefits from that more than others.
Yeah, that makes sense. What I'll put you on the spot, because like when we bring a new client on at RSW, a new agency on, one of the biggest talking points early on is we got to differentiate you. Sometimes you come in and it's automatic, it's there. That's not an issue. Other ones like, no, we need to help you figure this out. I'll put you on the spot. And it's early days, but what do you say is Poke the Bear's, differentiation? What's the point of difference?
I mean,
I'm putting
client. No, that's fine. It's not the first time you've put me on the spot. A client recently told us she goes, "You guys are really good at getting under the skin of a brand."
That's cool.
And Subderma was an agency name that was on the pile of no. So Subderma was a thought we had as a name, but this has got too weird.
That is a little yeah.
But we really do get in there quickly. We understand and then ignore oftentimes the rules. We accept nothing. We call BS on every form of marketing nonsense. You can just smell it, and we raise our hand quickly on things that just don't quite wash, because we always come at it from the audience's POV, and that's more often than not what's in it for me.
Yeah.
And people aren't waiting for your lecture. They aren't waiting for your story and your history. They're skeptical. And that's I think our really good benefit is that we are equally skeptical and are bored and unimpressed. Loads of fun to be around, as you know.
True. It is true. Well, let me ask you this. I was not going to ask you this, but I'm going to, ready to put you on the spot. But so what you just said, you've mentioned, and we can look to your past maybe too, but when you push back on clients like that, when it's necessary, have you had issues where they're like, no, I'm the client, we're doing it this way, and you've had to say no? Have you been in those situations, or not really, because that was all established up front? That's
I'm proud to say, no, that's fine. I'm proud to say that we've never been asked off of a single account.
Okay, nice.
Yes, we push, we prod, we poke, we provoke, but it's all coming from the right place. I think clients know that. They for the most part, like to be challenged. They pay you to challenge them.
Yeah.
Yes, they will set up a guardrail pretty quick if the challenging gets to be a little robust.
Yeah.
Because they've got an audience they've got to sell to, which is a board or their bosses or whoever. And so we have to be very cognizant of that.
Sure.
Pushback, we get that. We get that.
Yeah, and that's.
If we're listening in those early meetings, sorry, Lee. If we're listening, you may bristle at the ideas we come back
to
you with, but you won't be able to say they're off strategy.
Okay.
Or they're out of left field that have nothing to do with the previous 7 meetings we all had and talked about, and so.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like a taste level, like comfort level, taste level, that makes the difference.
And we are in a similar situation. Let's make it about me, Bill, for a moment. But no, seriously, with our own agency clients, before they come on board, we will push there a little bit, and only in the sense of the same way we do, like, we want, and partners so overused, but it's like, yes, you're the client, but if there's strategy involved in this and you hired us for a reason because we're the experts here, we're going to push back a little bit. And it's all because, to your point, it's coming from the right place. It's ultimately because we want you to close more business. We're saying this because we think that's going to happen, and we want that back and forth. So I can see what you're saying in the sense of, if they're going to push back too much, it's like, how did we get here in the first place? So I see what you're saying.
That question does arise. Like, why do they hire us?
Yeah. It might. Well,